Have you ever wondered what makes Jamaica one of the most fascinating islands on Earth? From rivers that vanish underground to mountains older than dinosaurs. This video uncovers wild facts that will completely change how you see the island. But hidden deep in its rugged heart lies a mystery even most Jamaicans don't know about. And by the end of this video, you'll see exactly why this island defies everything you thought you knew. You might think of Jamaica as beaches and palm trees, but beneath that chill surface, the island is actually dissolving, literally. About 60% of Jamaica is made of limestone, and over millions of years of rainwater has carved it like a sculpture with a grudge. The result? Sinkholes, hidden caves, and rivers that appear, disappear, then casually reappear somewhere else, like a magician. It's what geologists call karst landscape, but what locals might call watch where you step. Entire underground systems twist beneath your feet, places where scientists, explorers, and the occasional brave tourist crawl through ancient stone cathedrals in the dark. Inside these caves, time itself seems stuck. They have preserved pottery, bones, and even ancient Taino artifacts, protected for centuries by the slow drip of limestone and the occasional colony of bats who did not sign off on the excavation permit. But while these caves tell stories of Jamaica's deep past, the rivers tell the story of its present, channeling water through miles of rock before it bursts out again in lush valleys, feeding farms, waterfalls, and the famous Duns River itself. It's nature's plumbing system, minus the plumber's bill. Fast forward a few centuries, and Jamaica found itself under British rule. One of the many islands caught in the colonial merry-go-round. But unlike some, Jamaica didn't just step off politely. After generations of rebellion, activism, and sheer Caribbean determination, on August 6, 1962, Jamaica finally raised its own flag. The Union Jack came down. The black, green, and gold went up. But Jamaica's story doesn't stop at the shoreline. About 50 miles south, beneath the waves, lies one of the strangest secrets, the Pedro Banks. They are actually submerged mountains rising from 3,000 feet deep to just 10 feet below the surface, larger in area than Jamaica itself. Think of it as Jamaica's underwater cousin, who skipped the whole emerging from the sea phrase. These banks are teeming with life, coral reefs, exotic fish, and marine species that scientists are still discovering. It's one of the richest fishing grounds in the Caribbean, a kind of underwater farmer's market for everything that swims, crawls, or nibbles. Some scientists even believe the Pedro Banks show what Jamaica looked like millions of years ago, before tectonic forces hoisted it up into the sunlight. So in a sense, the island's past still exists. It's just chilling underwater, waiting for sea levels to drop again. But when that happens, maybe in a few million years, Jamaica might have a new southern neighbor. Once upon a time, Jamaica had its very own Las Vegas of sin, minus the air conditioning, and with a lot more rum. Welcome to Port Royal, 17th century hotspot for pirates, privateers, and every outlaw who could afford a ship and poor decisions. It was so wild. Historians literally called it the wickedest city on earth. Gold, guns, gambling, you name it. Port Royal had it. The British called it commerce. The Spanish called it trouble. And God apparently called it enough, because in 1692, a massive earthquake hit, sinking 2/3 of the city straight into the sea. Thousands perished, ships vanished, and the once sinful city became an underwater time capsule, a Caribbean Atlantis. Today, Port Royal rests beneath Kingston Harbour. Divers explore its streets, frozen in time. Wine bottles, cannons, even taverns, perfectly preserved. A ghost town under the waves, where the rum's long gone, but the stories still flow. But not all Jamaicans lived under the colonial boot. Deep in the island's heart, escaped and enslaved Africans carved out their own freedom. The Maroons, they didn't just hide, they fought, using guerrilla tactics, ambushes, and the sheer wildness of Jamaica's interior. They built independent mountain communities the British simply could not conquer. In 1739, after years of defeat, the British finally signed a peace treaty with the Maroons. These communities still exist today, proud symbols of rebellion and self-rule. Now let's swim south. Jamaica's south coast hide one of the Caribbean's greatest natural wonders, a coral reef system stretching over 200 miles long. We're talking 60 plus species of hard coral and 400 plus kinds of fish, basically a neon underwater metropolis. But where parrotfish are the gardeners, moray eels are the landlords. Even after coral bleaching hit hard, Jamaica's reefs started fighting back. Scientists think some corals here might carry genetic resistance to heat stress. So yes, Jamaica's coral is tougher than most gym bros. Head west and you'll find the Dolphin Head Mountains, named for their shape, not the animal. They split Jamaica's climate in two. Over 150 inches of rain on one side, less than 40 inches of rain on the other. It's nature's version of choose your own fighter. Lush forests to the east, dry scrubland to the west, all thanks to the rain shadow effect. It's the same island, two completely different worlds. And then there's the roaring river cave, where water doesn't just flow, it rises. Because of underground pressure, a hidden waterfall literally shoots upward through the cracks in the rock. The cave also hides ancient ceremonial sites and blind fish who've never seen sunlight or a tourist. Step inside and it's like walking into another planet, a damp one with bats. But the true heart of Jamaica's wildness, the cockpit country. 500 square miles of jagged limestone peaks and deep round valleys that look like someone dropped an egg carton from space. This alien-looking landscape was carved over millions of years as rain ate away the rock. It's so rugged that parts of it remain unexplored. And we're in 2025, mind you. Google Maps just shrugs and gives up here. For over a century, it served as a fortress for the Maroons who knew every path, sinkhole, and hidden trail. The British tried to chase them through and got lost faster than your Wi-Fi signal in the countryside. Today, scientists estimate the cockpit country holds over 70% of Jamaica's endemic species. Plants, frogs, butterflies, you name it, all found nowhere else on Earth. It's also a crucial water source, filtering rainfall through its maze of caves into underground reservoirs. In other words, the cockpit country doesn't just look alien, it keeps Jamaica alive. Before it was rum and reggae, Jamaica was all empire and ambition. The Spanish showed up in 1509, planted a flag and said "Mio," only to lose it to the British in 1655, after a quick and rather embarrassing invasion. Spain called it Santiago, Britain renamed it Jamaica, and the locals just called it home. At just over 4,240 square miles, Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean, smaller than Connecticut, but infinitely cooler. What it lacks in size, it makes up for in sheer personality. Mountains, rivers, beaches, and more biodiversity than you can fit in a David Attenborough documentary. Jamaica may be small, but it has over 120 rivers. That's one river for every 23 square miles. Some countries have fewer rivers and worse music. The Rio Grande carries more water than rivers in nations 10 times Jamaica's size. And because of the island's limestone underbelly, many rivers just disappear. Poof, gone into the sinkholes and caves, only to reappear miles away, fresh and crystal clear. Take the Rio Cobra, for instance. It dives into a sinkhole known as the sink. Creative, right? And travels underground for almost 2 miles before resurfacing like it's been on a secret mission. This mix of overground and underground rivers carved Jamaica's lush valleys and gorges. The same ones tourists float through on bamboo rafts, pretending not to tip over while taking selfies. Now, Jamaica doesn't just look dramatic, it is dramatic. The island sits right on top of 4 tectonic plates: North American, South American, Caribbean, and Cocos. That's basically like living in a 4-way traffic intersection where nobody obeys the lights. No wonder Jamaica records over 200 tremors every year, even though most are too small to notice, unless your coffee suddenly shakes itself. But sometimes the island reminds everyone who's boss: Port Royal earthquake, which literally sent the wickedest city on earth sliding into the sea. Talk about divine urban planning. The Plantain Garden Fort, running beneath the Blue Mountains, is one of the most dangerous in the Caribbean. But it's also what gave Jamaica its epic mountain ranges, mineral springs, and geothermal baths. Take the bath fountain. Natural, hot, water bubbling out from the ground at 128 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like nature's own spa day, if you don't mind a bit of sulfur. Underneath all this beauty is a world few ever see. Jamaica hides over 1,000 caves, formed by millions of years of rain dissolving limestone. Some were tiny ceremonial sites, others pirate hideouts, and a few, like Windsor Great Cave, are full-blown ecosystems. It's home to over 100,000 bats from a dozen species, plus blind spiders and fossils of ancient sea level. In short, it's loud, it's smelly, it's alive, and it's a treasure trove for scientists, basically the opposite of most office jobs. Jamaica's beaches come in shades from dazzling white to gold and even black, a reflection of the island's diverse geology, where coral sands meet ancient volcanic rock.